Mr. Baskerville, your next court date will be June 15th at 8:30. Please be in touch with counsel. I'm not sure whether we'll be doing this by phone or back live at that time, okay? Mr. Baskerville?
I'm here.
Okay, just make sure you stay in touch with counsel, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll see you back here June 15th.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Judge, we can call Mr. Vallejo.
And just sorry to interrupt, this is Catherine Hardigan. Mr. Brandt is in the Jefferson County Jail. I just got a call from the sheriff that he has another setting at 9:30 for another inmate. So I just wanted to notify the court of that. I'm not sure. I provided the number to the clerk last week, but whenever the court can call it, I just want to update the court on that.
You will be next.
Okay, thanks.
Assuming we can get Mr. Brandt on the line. Is he there?
And I can wait, Judge. Mr. Vallejo is, I just got notice, is refusing.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Let's do Mr. Brandt. 1 second. We'll get Mr. Brandt.
Your Honor, this is Shannon O'Connor. While we're waiting for Mr. Brandt, we are ready on Miracle and Pofo as well, and it is a case where we have victims who are present on the line. I just wanted to let the court know.
Okay.
This is Shannon O'Connor. While we're waiting for Mr. Brandt, we are ready on Miracle and Pofo as well, and
Okay. I'm sorry, you did what? Oh, I haven't got it. All right. All right, what's that?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Brandt?
Yes, this is Mr. Brandt.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to call your case right now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, it's 19 CR 2197, People versus Eric Brandt.
Good morning, Your Honor. Lauren Mitchell and Shannon Hurley for the people.
Good morning, Judge Catherine Hardigan on behalf of Mr. Brandt, who appears at the Jefferson County Jail.
All right,
And for the record, this is Mr. Brandt. Yes.
Perfect. And Mr. Brandt, can you hear us okay?
I can hear fairly okay. I am hard of hearing, and I'll speak up if I can't hear.
All right, let us know. This is important. We are set for a pretrial preliminary hearing today. I do understand that there is a plea agreement in this case. Ms. Hardigan, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. And I did, there's a little bit of difficulty getting it on time. I emailed it to your clerk this morning, and I submitted it on ISIS this morning as well. But that is correct, Your Honor. We do have an agreement.
All right, and I do have the paperwork. We got it by email.
And I apologize, Your Honor. Ms. Hardigan did send that to me timely, and I told her that there was pages missing, and so she sent it again. I didn't get it until Saturday, and then in evaluating the paperwork, it turns out that actually she did send it to me. I did not turn the page over and look at page 2 on the reverse side. I wasn't used to that. And I just want to apologize to my lawyer and to everybody that the reason why that wasn't submitted on time was because I didn't turn the page over.
All right, Mr. Brandt, I appreciate that. That double-sided stuff is a pain, isn't it?
It is.
Trying to save paper. I got to stop doing that.
All right. All right. So now, Mr. Brandt, before we proceed, and Ms. Hardigan, this is for you as well, you do have the right to be present in person. Of course, if you want to exercise that right, unfortunately, that will not be possible for at least a month and probably more. So I need your consent, Mr. Brandt, to proceed by way of telephone conference today.
So, Your Honor, for the record, considering the current pandemic and the situations there, and considering the fact that a correctional facility is a lot like a cruise ship with a free boarding policy, I would actually like to minimize any transfers in any of my cases wherever practical, because the instant I step foot out of this facility, I will be in quarantine for 2 weeks, which is essentially solitary confinement without a disciplinary reason. So I would like to maximize my liberty even within this facility, and so I expressly consent to this hearing being done by telephone without my physical presence, and it would be my desire on the other matters that my physical presence be waived and by telephone wherever allowed by law.
Okay, perfect. And Ms. Hardigan, you also okay with proceeding? You're on video conference today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Mr. Brandt, my understanding of the plea disposition is that you wish to plead guilty to an added count 3 harassment, a class 3 misdemeanor. The agreement is for credit for time served, no further jail on this case, and it would essentially conclude this particular matter. Is that your understanding of the plea disposition?
Your Honor, that's my understanding. It's also my understanding that this would be an Alford plea and that we'd be waiving factual basis, which is not what I had read in enumerated item number 4 of the plea, so that's why I made the note there.
Correct, and I do see that, and I'm comfortable accepting it as an Alford plea.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that added count is 18-9-111 sub 1 sub B, obscene gesture. Is that correct?
Correct. Class 3 misdemeanor.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, as to that charge, Mr. Brandt, how do you plead guilty or not guilty?
As to that charge, Your Honor, I will plead guilty.
Okay. Now, I need to do some further advisement here. I suspect you're well aware of all of this, but do you understand that by pleading guilty today, you're giving up your right to a speedy and public jury trial?
Yes.
And you understand if you wanted to go to trial, Ms. Hardigan and Mr. Griffin would stay on the case. They'd represent you all the way through trial if that's what you wanted to do. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you could not afford counsel, we would appoint counsel to represent you at no charge, and that person would represent you all the way through trial if that's what you wanted to do. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
At trial, you could cross-examine and confront the district attorney's witnesses. You could testify if you wanted to, but you would not be required to do so, and you could also call witnesses on your behalf. Do you understand you're giving up all of those rights today?
Your Honor, I do.
In addition to your trial rights, Mr. Brandt, do you understand you're also giving up your rights to any appeal of this matter today?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, Mr. Brandt, this is a credit for time served plea, and I will accept that, but just so you understand, a Class 3 misdemeanor can carry a sentence of anywhere from 0 to up to 6 months in the Denver County Jail, along with a fine of between $50 and $750. Do you understand that?
I do, sir.
All right. Now, Mr. Brandt, I believe there might have been another document called the elements document. Ms. Hardigan, did you go over the elements of the harassment charge with Mr. Brandt?
Your Honor, I didn't actually see that document. It may have been, I know I sent Mr. Brandt the added count, and we went over that together. So I did review that with him, which does include those elements. And I believe Mr. Brandt has that. And correct me if I'm wrong on that, Mr. Brandt, but I believe he did see that.
So to augment the record on that, Your Honor, I don't think there's very many people in the state that are more familiar with the essential elements of 18-9-111 subsection B than myself. So I don't recall that my lawyer and I expressly went over the elements of that section, but considering that I have litigated that question, I don't know how many times, at least dozens, and considering that it's the subject of numerous civil litigations, I would purport to the court that I'm very familiar with the elements of that charge.
Perfect. That is what I needed, Mr. Brandt. I appreciate that. Now, Mr. Brandt, understanding all of the rights you're giving up today, understanding the potential penalty that this Class 3 misdemeanor carries, but also understanding that I am accepting the sentencing stipulation here, do you still want to go forward with the plea agreement today?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Other than the plea agreement itself, has anybody made any promise to you in exchange for your guilty plea today?
Other than the document that I signed with the 2 enumerated amendments, no.
Oh, perfect. Is anybody forcing you to do this?
I'm not being forced to do it. I'm disappointed that I'm doing it, which is, of course, the nature of an Alford plea. But I think that the city gets a win here because they get to mitigate potential civil liability, which is truly what this prosecution was about. And I get to mitigate my continuing injuries because this case, the mere existence of this case is causing me substantial hardship in numerous other areas of my life. And although I believe that the case is 100% winnable, particularly if you watch the video that was taken by the security camera down the street, it's very obvious what this case was about. It's disappointing to me that there was an email between the city prosecution's office, the city attorney's office, the Denver police, the mayor's office, and several businesses associated with the Downtown Denver Business Partnership just days before this incident, where they delineated their expressly designed scheme to take Eric Brandt and Brian Loma out of action. And then the literal slew of arrests that came out of that. This court will become aware of those emails as part of the other case. But everything from the prosecutor sitting inside the restaurant while they sent somebody out to dump scalding hot water on me and then arresting me. I know the court has seen a lot of arrests come through. It certainly paints me out to be very heinous, but I think when you actually look at the details, it's very obvious that they intended to get rid of me, and I will purport to the court that they have succeeded. So irrespective of any punishment or any sentence, I will tell you that my plan is to terminate my criminal and civil litigations to the best of my ability, and then my plan is actually to seek political asylum in another country.
All right.
I have been silenced. You guys win.
All right, Mr. Brandt. And I forgot to ask you this at the beginning. I need to ask you this now. Are you thinking clearly today?
To the best of my knowledge, I am.
You under the influence of anything today?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you suffer from any physical or emotional condition that affects your ability to think clearly today?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Brandt. The court will accept the plea and finds that it is made in a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary fashion. That's based on the advisement I just went through and also the paperwork, which contains your signature and interlineations along with your attorney's signature. There's a waiver of a factual basis in the document, and it is an Alford plea. We can go to immediate sentencing on this. Ms. Mitchell?
Thank you, Your Honor. I really don't have much to add. I would note that it's people's position that if this case were to have proceeded to trial, this would have been the likely outcome, an M3 harassment conviction. I'll also note that for the purposes of VRA, the victim is okay with this plea and wishes to finish this matter.
All right. Ms. Hardigan?
Thank you, Judge. I think my client has filled the court in as to why he took this plea agreement. I will note my calculations is that there's 53 days credit for time served, so I would request the court accept that. And thank you for allowing us to discover the zone today. And that's further on behalf of Mr. Brandt.
All right. And Ms. Hardigan, I missed the number. 63, did you say?
5-3.
5-3. Okay, very good. Okay, Mr. Brandt, anything else you want to say before I pose a sentence?
Just that if this case were to go to trial, I think the likely outcome would be acquittal, and also the time served days, I don't dispute them. I didn't calculate them myself. But although I'm in a different facility, I would also posit to the court that I am on the special programs unit, where I have been for several months, where I have had exactly zero disciplinary write-ups whatsoever, and that in the Jefferson County system, that would have been worth an additional 12 days of a good time, and I know that doesn't factor into this case, but I wanted to let the court know that. That would be 12 days per month, I should say. So that would be effectively, I would have served approximately 3 months worth of time.
All right, Mr. Brandt. Sentence is a credit for time served sentence. The minimus will reflect 53 days in the sentence and 53 days credit for time served. Accordingly, the sentence is discharged, and that resolves this case. Ms. Brandt, I think we have one more. I know we have one more case pending here in this court, so we will see you again.
And is it correct that I think that that's on the 16th that I'm there again?
I was trying to look that up this morning, Mr. Brandt, and I wasn't able to do that. Can we look it up? 1 second.
Or maybe while you're looking that up, Your Honor, I know that that's Ms. McKenzie's case, but I would just like the court to understand that my desire, again, would be to appear by telephone if that's permissible.
Okay, so depending on the date, Mr. Brandt, we may well be still operating remotely, in which case you would definitely be appearing by phone. May 15th is our date.
May 15th, okay.
So that's undoubtedly going to be by phone, so we'll make that happen.
Okay, and I would like to thank the court again for returning those bonds. The checks, as my understanding, are being written to return people's money. Some people have already received them. I'm in here. I don't know a lot about that, but I really greatly appreciate you doing that.
All right, Mr. Brandt. All right. Thanks, everybody. Mr. Brandt, we'll see you May 15th, I guess.
Thank you. Ms. Hardigan, would you and Ms. McKenzie please schedule a phone call with me?
Yes, Mr. Brandt.
Thank you. And thank you. Lauren Mitchell. Ms. Mitchell. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care, Mr. Brandt.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.